Hello, everyone. This is Ryan Higgins from the Comic Conspiracy Podcast. And a couple notes before we start this week's episode. We had Bryce on mic about halfway through, maybe half an hour into the episode. He joins us. He was running a little late.
I was told the wrong time. You didn't tell me the right time. I would have been here on time.
He was running a little late, and I thought I had his mic plugged in, but apparently I didn't. So there's going to be a couple mines where you might not hear Bryce with 100% volume.
Telling all of y'all it's sabotage.
Well, Bryce fortunately does talk at like 10,000 normal volume, so you might actually hear him perfectly fine. I don't know. We'll find out when I process this episode tonight. However, it is the beginning of the month, so we have to thank all our great friends at patreon.com/comicconspiracy, whereas for as little as $1 a month, you can donate to this podcast. We have to thank our good friend Albert Soy. We also have to thank Julian Titus and the Nerds Without Pants podcast. Toby.
No pants. Oh, wait. I have to do it again, huh?
No pants. There it is at pixelbit.com. And Julian got a nice review from someone that came over from our podcast, listened to his, and is now a big fan of his podcast. So please go listen to these podcasts that we mentioned. Ryan Hess has the Preach podcast at soundcloud.com/Preach podcast. My mouth did not want to make that noise, SoundCloud, but it works. Jody Lawson is the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudios.com. We also like to thank our good friends at Manoa Place, Sam Che, Talon Bray, and Craig Anderson. Thank you guys all very, very much for your donations. $1 a month or more at patreon.com/comicconspiracy is where you can help support this podcast. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 305 for the week of April 11th, 2017. My name is Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week.
Brock Sager.
And Charlie.
Toby's across the street getting a falafel, so he'll be gone for 3/4 of this podcast. I thought he was going to the gas station over here to get like a snack, and then I'm like, wait, he went to get falafel. Oh, he won't be back for a long time.
That falafel place is like packed all the time.
All the time. Ridiculous. I don't know how
I've ever been over there.
Oh, it's pretty good. I wouldn't wait an hour for a fucking falafel. Let me rephrase that. I did wait an hour for a falafel when we were in France. That's one damn good falafel. But I normally wouldn't wait an hour for a falafel.
Well, I don't think I've ever gone over to that place the entire time I've been here.
It used to be half of that, and then they bought out the entire unit, and then they made more, and they put this whole thing, and now I think they're moving maybe into where the restaurant was next to it. So it's they exploded.
That old Dairy Bell.
Yeah, because that place is gone. They have blown up crazy.
I wonder if they were ever on diners, drive-ins, and dives.
I'm just
Dairy Bell?
wondering.
No, the falafel place.
No, it's not. It's not like that. It's like a counter service. Like you walk up and order from outside. It's not like a.
Yeah, diners, drive-ins, and dives does places like that.
No, okay. No, they wouldn't do that. They're not white. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do that place.
At some point, I should figure out when they're not crazy busy and
literally never. Literally never.
So I can't wander over there at 3 p.m.
No, it's always busy. It's crazy. I mean, maybe right when they open, you're fine. But yeah, it is crazy busy at that falafel place all the time. I mean, it's good falafel, but crazy. All right, when Toby gets back, I'm sure he'll have stuff to say. Maybe we'll save the Thor trailer for him because I know he's gonna be here. How about this? How about we start? And Toby doesn't usually participate too much in this. Why don't we start with March 2017's top comic books sold through Diamond Comics to the United States comic book direct market? Very specific.
Charlie, are we doing the sales charts?
We are doing the sales charts.
What we're doing?
Apparently.
We are doing the sales charts.
You know, we need to get a
Batman.
musical.
We all know how this game
Batman.
works. Everyone here gets to try to guess the top 10 comic books sold, and then I'll read you some cool stats about the month.
Batman.
Batman is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these books. 4 of them have his name in the title. Well, technically only 3 of them do, but
Charlie got the first one, which is Batman.
So Dark Knight 3 Master Race number 8 is the number 2 book of the month, selling 107,000 copies.
Flat Batman.
It doesn't matter.
I said Batman's in 5 of these books. Batman number 18 and Batman number 19 are the 3 and 4 title at roughly 98,000 copies each. All-Star Batman number 8 is the number 8 book at 71,000. And, of course, another book Batman is often in that would be on the top 10 list.
Justice League.
Justice League, number 16, and number 17. It's right next to it, about 62,000 copies each. So that is a number 10 book. Justice League 17 is number 11. That Justice League book is still hanging up there, man.
I know.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it, but we sell a shitload of that book.
I think it's because it's. I mean, the stories might not be the best stories, but they're the Justice League doing Justice League stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's like if Avengers were doing Avengers stuff, I'd be reading the Avengers book.
Yeah.
Is The Walking Dead 25-cent issue in there?
No, that was the previous month. And actually, 25-cent comics are not on the sales charts.
Okay,
But
just checking.
Walking Dead number 165 is on here. 70,000 copies. It's the number 9 comic for the month.
So which ones do we need?
We need number, let's see, from the bottom. You got 10 is Justice League, 9 is Walking Dead, 8 is All-Star Batman, 7,
We need 7.
another perennial, always on here in some fashion. Usually on here in some fashion.
Star Wars?
Star Wars, number 29, 72,000 copies, the number 7 book. Number 6 is a one-shot. Pretty
X-Men Prime.
good selling X-Men, good selling one-shot. X-Men Prime, number 1, 83,000 copies. That's number 6. And X-Men Prime we sold out. I didn't go crazy on it, but...
Yeah, a lot of stores, I think, sold out because they were... I think because people were just kind of
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
this was sort of going to be the bridge.
Obviously, somebody didn't go super low on it because it made the top 10.
There's shitloads of variants and everything, right? But there's X-Men Prime is kind of that bridge for what's coming up.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a lot more in a few minutes. Number 5, another number 1 from Marvel. A lot of variants. Don't expect number 2 to be this high.
Oh, shit. What came out in March?
What major thing happened in March?
Iron Fist?
Iron Fist, the Iron Fist TV show, same week. Iron Fist number 1, 89,000 copies, the number 5 comic. Number 4 and 3 are Batman. Number 2 is Master Race. And number 1 is something.
Something about something?
Although there are many books that have, well, not many. There are a number of books that have passed this milestone. This book is now one of these, milestone comics where they bring in a certain dollar amount.
Mm-hmm.
Not too many comics have made $1 million a piece.
What? Oh.
$1 million for one comic.
Who broke 1 million?
Not 1 million copies sold, but $1 million.
Yeah, I know, but what broke 1 million?
What book came out in March that would disproportionately affect its place in a $1 million comic?
Was it in a loot crate?
Number? No.
But
I think
even-
those are off again. Those I haven't seen loot crates on in a long time.
Even based on that price point, I'm guessing it had to be like an $8 issue
You were very close.
or $10.
You are off by a penny. What came out in March that was $9.99, boys?
Fucking Deadpool?
No. We were shorted all our copies.
This is probably why I don't know what the fuck it is.
Dan Slott's going to sign all our copies and send it to us to give to our subscribers.
God. Fucking Amazing Spider-Man.
Amazing Spider-Man 25, 113,000 copies at $9.99 up each. That
explains how I missed that issue.
Yes. So did I not tell you about this?
No, I just finished reading 26 that comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
And went,
So
I'm very lost.
yes, so Amazing Spider-Man 25, we were shorted our copies. Diamond sent them to us. The lovely Dan Slott actually reached out to me on Twitter out of nowhere and said, "Hey, that really sucks. Send me your copies when you get them in. I will sign them all for your subscribers and mail them back to you." So I talked to them the other day. He is going to the post office and mail it because I sent it to him like a year or two ago when we got him in. So
That's amazing.
yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
And now we're getting some signed copies of Spider-Man. I don't have like extra copies, but I have like subs plus like a copy or two. So
Yeah. That's very cool.
yeah, Dan Slott's a cool dude.
Yep.
So there you go. We've maybe not been the happiest with his run. Unfortunately, our Spider-Man numbers are quite down.
I think we enjoyed certain parts of Slott's run. I think.
Absolutely.
I think that again, it's the same.
I think
thing.
you're talking about current.
Yeah,
I think
this
it's-
current series is not.
I think it's. I think it's the same problem where we see it with Harley Quinn. It's like we need some fresh.
Yeah.
Because the Paul Dini backup in Harley, that thing sold.
Oh, he was sold
In
out. Yeah.
droves,
Well,
like-
I think those Frank Cho covers help too.
Well, the regular cover was out. We ran out of Frank.
Yeah, we ran.
only
Well,
had Frank
I
Cho
went.
left.
I went way heavy on the Frank Cho cover. Yeah. Other big ones, X-Men Man of War #1 was a number 12 comic at 60,000 copies.
It was a good first issue.
Yeah,
Impressive.
They did huge discounts and massive variants and everything. Batwoman #1, 54,000 copies, the number 19 comic.
Good book.
Inhumans Prime #1 was a number 24 book at 50,000.
I haven't read that yet.
I did. It's not that great.
Surprisingly, actually lower than I thought. Neil Gaiman's American Gods, 44,000 copies. It's fully returnable, so yeah, I mean, it makes sense that it's. I actually figured it may be higher. You know the heat's off because America #1 was only 43,000 copies, the 37th book, and I don't expect to see #2 anywhere near that high. Although we actually did sell out of my reorder of that title, so and sales on 2. I mean, comparatively to a lot of Marvel books, compared to most books, they're bad, but compared to a lot of current new launches for Marvel, they're all right. So, Titans Annual #1, 34,000 copies, the number 64 title. That's one that people have kept asking me over and over for. We did get a small restock. If you're a fan of the Titans, I think a lot of people passed on that one. They shouldn't have. We went real big and still sold out. So.
Is it the Justice League?
Charlie's walking over.
Or is there something going on?
It's it's the first kind of big meeting between the Titans and Justice League. It's a lot of Donna Troy stuff. The Key is a major factor in it, and it is definitely, again, if you want to follow all those rebirth strings through the titles, you want this. So it's not very,
I'm a little behind on my reading from last week, but Titans is in that stack. So.
Yeah, it's not like.
I know, Charlie.
It's not like directly connected, but
I'm very behind on my reading.
It's not like Dr. Manhattan pops out of the last page or anything like that, but it is like, again, that path we're taking.
Okay.
So if we're going to go here by our top comics, the overall market share. So this is the overall share of all comic books, graphic novels, everything shipped through the month of March. DC was the top share, 35.46%. Marvel was 34.34%.
Whoa.
Image was 10.02%. IDW, Dark Horse, Dynamite.
Wow.
Overall dollar, of course, Marvel jumps up 35.41% over DC, 28.75% of the industry. Image, basically the same, 10.71%. That $1 million Spider-Man comic really helped. So now we're going to go into items in the top 300. The top 300 comics sold. Marvel had 88 books. DC had 87. If you remember the month prior, Marvel had like 102 or 104. So clearly Marvel's dropping a lot of their titles. Toby's back with falafel. So here, this is where we start to get into the big stuff here. Share in the top 300. DC was 40.73%. Toby's back. Falafel time. See, I thought you were going to the gas station to get like water. I didn't realize you were going. Did you get falafel? Yeah, so you got falafels. Yeah, I was like, oh, Toby's going to be gone for an hour. So eat your falafel.
So he actually got back earlier than we thought.
Yeah. It was only like 45 minutes. DC was 40.73% of units in the top 300. Marvel was 38.9%.
This is units. So
units in the top 300. So
this is books.
So
number of books. 4
out of every 10 comics sold, 2 out of every 5 comics sold was a DC comic. Marvel was just slightly under that. Dollar share in the top 300. Marvel was 43%. DC was 35%.
You said 8 o'clock. I'm 10 minutes early.
No, okay. I said 7:30 when I left.
No, you did not.
I said hopefully by 8 o'clock. It was much earlier than that. So Marvel 43%, DC 35%. Again, that $1 million comic with Spidey 25 really helps with that. So yeah, obviously we're getting we're seeing DC.
Yeah. If you take, I'd be curious to see what the number is if you take out Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, I mean that's probably half their line, right? I mean it's a ridiculous amount of books sold. Well, not half. I mean they had Iron Fist and X-Men Prime. So X-Men Prime is a $5 book. So yeah, it is a good chunk of their income came from Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, you figure if you take it sold over 100,000 copies at $10 a pop.
Yep.
That's
a lot of money.
If it was a $5, if you split it to $5 book, that's 200,000 copies. But
either way, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really great when you actually get the book too.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, wait. I think your mouth was bad. Anyway, we're going to move on. Comic books sold. Everyone loves comic books that sell. There we go. Let's see. Toby is here. I want to talk about this very briefly before we move on to some bigger comic book news. This is not specifically comic books, but
Before I start my dinner?
It's an anime. It's an anime.
Yeah, you little bitch.
Oh, shit.
Whoa, what?
You could have told me you're watching it this weekend and then doing it this podcast because I would have totally watched it this Sunday.
I didn't know.
I didn't know you were going to talk about it this week. Until you posted about it yesterday. I'm like, thanks a lot, dude. I was totally going to watch it on Sunday.
Okay, I am not going to talk about it. That's okay. I'm going to basically say what is very similar to what I said in the Geek Box last night. So if you heard that, you want to skip 5
you can
minutes.
Talk about it. I'm sorry you picked it.
No.
Why?
Because you'll hear me. So,
I'll hear you. Did you just say because I will hear you? You will not talk about it because I will hear you.
I listen to the words coming out of my mouth, and you will hear why I'm not going to talk about it. Okay.
Okay. Do not talk about it.
Charlie, what the fuck is going on?
We're recording a podcast.
Okay.
There is an anime movie, a Japanese animation movie, that came out in Japan last year called Your Name. It is, I believe, as of right now, the 4th highest grossing film ever in Japanese history. It is, I believe, I thought I read it was the number one, 8th highest grossing traditionally animated film. I'm sorry. It is the highest grossing anime film worldwide of all time. This came out last year.
That's awesome.
I literally had never heard of this until Saturday.
I apparently have still never heard of it till right now.
Right. It came out this weekend. It's played at 330 theaters, I believe is what I read.
And it broke records.
It broke a lot of records. We were at
300 theaters.
We were there Sunday, and it was about half sold. It was about three quarters of it was full. You know, this is the Bay Area, maybe a little more aimed towards that crowd. But so it's really hard to talk about this because, again, you see all these records, you're like, why the hell is this breaking all these records? Like, what is up with this anime? This must be like the craziest thing of all time. So there's a trailer. There's a trailer with an English English subtitles. So I go and watch it, and you're like, okay, the trailer's fine, but what? Like, why is this movie making so much money? And I will tell you no more than what the trailer shows you, which is honestly nothing. There's a girl that lives in a very traditional Japanese, rural shrine, right? She's there with her sister and grandmother, and they work at the shrine. Then there is a boy that lives in Tokyo. You know, she's probably 16, 17. He's 18, I believe, because he has a job. And something happens, and they Freaky Friday, and they switch bodies, right? The trailer's like a minute and a half. That's the setup. Looks like wacky anime hijinks, and you're like, what? Like, why is this the highest grossing anime of all time? People say they go back 3, 4, 5 times to see this movie.
That's awesome.
So we're like, well, fuck, I guess we have to go see this movie and see what the deal is, right?
Nice.
So I'm watching it, and again, I don't know. I will not talk about the plot in any way, shape, or form going forward because
except about Freaky Friday and switching bodies.
That is like
that's in the trailer.
The first 5 minutes of the movie. Okay. I have never walked out of a movie and wanted to immediately go back and watch it like I have with this. This is probably the greatest anime that has ever been made. I was blown fucking away by this movie on a level that I can't even see. And I'm going to way overhype it, and so people are going to go see it, and they're going to be like, well, whatever, it was all right.
Well, Charlie, are you still recording a podcast after this podcast?
No.
There's a 10-something o'clock screening at the Mountain View Theater.
I was just floored during this movie. I've never been so blindsided by a movie in my entire life. And I feel like I shouldn't even talk this up. You should just go and not listen to a word I'm saying. So you're like, all right, why?
Because usually when you're that hyped up for a movie, I usually dislike it. So I will try not to listen to you right now.
I cannot. I would think it would be very difficult for there to be a better movie this year.
Wow. Okay. Cool. That's awesome.
Well, let me ask you this. Just because I would assume it would not be kid appropriate.
No, there's the mildest of. There's a handful of like little kind of anime, like
it is a guy and a girl switching bodies.
Sex jokes, but it's not. There's no nudity, no swearing, no graphic violence, no overly sexualized stuff. There's some little jokes, but it's nothing major.
Very Miyazaki-like.
It looks a lot like Miyazaki. Yeah. It's probably the best looking anime I've ever seen, and I mean we're talking on par with Miyazaki, on par with Akira. It is gorgeous.
That's awesome. But it does. The trailer looks fantastic.
You were not to quote World of Warcraft. You were not prepared.
You are not prepared.
And again,
Illidan, right?
Anyone that listening that is seeing this is probably like, yep, I know why he's saying this, and I know why he can't say a fucking word about this movie. And everyone listening that has never seen it, they're like, all right, whatever, dude.
Quick
You like Green Lantern. How good can it be?
Yeah, quick question. What does it have a Rotten Tomato score?
It's like 97% or something like that. I implore you to go support this movie if it's playing by you. Go watch it. Tell your friends. Do not let them look up anything about it. Don't read the plot. If you see the trailer that's like a minute and a half, that's fine. If people are like, this looks whatever.
I've been curious about it for about like a year.
I know, because
people have been talking about it for like a year at this point.
I never heard of this movie.
No, it's been going on for like a year.
Yeah,
people have been talking about it.
Yeah.
And then it's weird because I do look at the promo picture or the poster and I'm like, that looks beautiful, but you don't think much more about it. I kind of like... I've seen the postings about this movie for I guess say an entire year, and every time I'm kind of like, it looks nice. Yeah. It would be something I check out, and then I kind of forgotten about it until 4 months later, until someone else wrote about it.
It's not that it's a sad movie. I mean, it is in some fashion.
Is it Grave of the Fireflies sad?
No. No. I would not be saying this if it was Grave of the Fireflies. I'd be jumping off the roof if it was Grave of the Fireflies and killing myself because fuck that movie.
Did you cry?
It is impossible to not bawl hysterically during Grave of the Fireflies. You are not a human if you are not crying in just a puddle by the end of it. Not even by the end of that movie, but like halfway through that movie.
So you hate the movie because it made you feel?
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
This has a lot of emotion. It's not necessarily sad, but it is a very emotional movie. And like Leanne said, it was like she felt like her stomach like drop watching it. And to me, it was like kind of that same where like I just felt like I got punched in the face, and you're like, what the fucking fuck? It is the craziest movie, and please ignore everything I've said. Do not go into this movie expecting or hyped or anything. Please go in.
Too late now.
I know it's too late, but just do what you always do. Ignore everything I said.
I do.
Just
I really
go
do
into this movie, and I would
95% of the time.
I want everyone I know to see this movie. I hope everyone has the same reaction I had to it. It's mind-boggling. This movie is legitimately mind-boggling.
All right, time to end this podcast at 9:30 exactly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, we'll be done. We'll be done plenty of time. I would love to see you guys go to the movie tonight and let me know what you think, because
I'm down. I'm down. It's the only night I'm free. Let's do it.
Well, like I said, I totally understand why people go see this movie 3-4 times.
Really?
I feel like it's got that thing where every time you watch it, you're going to pick up on something different. You're going to because it starts very kind of normal.
I mean, the trailer looks pretty normal.
Normal-ish.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
it's beautifully like drawn, and art direction is really nice.
And this isn't like some.
That's why I didn't think more of it.
Yeah, this isn't like some crazy like. Eraserhead, Twin Peaks, out of like weird ass Ryan movie that makes no sense to anyone, right?
Fuck those movies.
No, this is a somewhat straightforward movie. It has this kind of these.
So you think it's going to beat out a Pixar Disney movie finally this year out of the Oscars or next year?
Well, how would it work? It came out in Japan last year. It came out maybe if they allow it.
An American release?
For the American Oscars or the awards, when it's released in America here,
I don't even. So it didn't get nominated for a foreign.
Well, the thing is foreign. I don't think does foreign animation. I would love. So this guy Makoto Shinkai, he's directed other.
Yeah, he's got some huge hits.
Yeah. But this, and I really want to go watch everything this guy's done now to see if it's anything like this, because
that's cool.
Boy,
I think I'm in for tonight. I really actually was going to go watch it on Sunday. I was just like, I couldn't find anybody to go with me, and I was kind of dragging about it. And I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll watch it later in the week. Because I couldn't convince anybody to go see it with me.
It's incredible. It is incredible.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
Speaking of another movie.
What's that?
Speaking of another movie.
Another movie that actually looks pretty incredible, too, but in a little bit of a different way. Hey, Bryce is apparently on his way. Hello, we're already...
Bryce, just so you know, he's texting you right now.
Recording...
Bryce, briefly?
Read Facebook. I text really slow. Okay, so Bryce is coming. Well, I guess we can talk about the Thor trailer while Bryce is on his way because he doesn't want to talk about trailers. The Thor trailer was pretty fucking great.
Yeah, it was.
When that first footage showed up, I was like, ugh. But no, that Thor Ragnarok trailer is awesome.
Yeah.
They did the musical Guardians Suicide Squad kind of treatment to it.
Yeah, which is fine. Again, a little bit like Guardians, a little bit like Spider-Man in some of these movies. When they're too overly comedic, I want them to pull back a little bit. Guardians worked, right?
Yeah.
Guardians 2, it's like, oh, Baby Groot, man, that better not be super annoying.
Fuck you.
Baby Groot better not be annoying.
Baby Groot is the best thing of all time, next to Gremlins and Stitch and whatever little monsters I can think of right now.
Ryan, just go into Guardians 2 going, thank God it's not Rastafari Groot.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that'll be him at the end. Yeah, I think they got rid of that too. But no. Of course, the big spoiler, it's not a spoiler, it's in the trailer, but yes, confirmed, Hulk is in the movie, much like Planet Hulk, the whole Guardian.
I know him from work.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny line. Hela, she looks good.
Yes,
that looks awesome. Don't they even make her look a little bit like one of Thanos's the Black Sirens? What are they called? The
Swans?
Black Swan. Yeah, doesn't she kind of almost look like
in that one scene?
Yeah. But that huge antler horn get up for Hela, she looks great. Hella good.
Who's the actress that does it again?
Is it Cate Blanchett? Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Yep.
I was never attracted to her until this
a few people said she looks like what's her face from Power Rangers, and I was like, yeah, actually, I can kind of see that.
Kind of does.
Yeah. What's her name?
Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, but what's
Rita
Repulsa. But I was like, yeah, she kind of does a little bit, but yeah, that's funny.
We should talk about that one of these days too.
Power Rangers, yeah. We can talk about it right now.
Fuck, it was good.
We talked about it in the Geekbox, but no, I guess we never talked Power Rangers here, huh?
I really liked it.
Yeah, I did too. I was really surprised.
It's a modern day cross between Breakfast Club and Power Rangers is the best way to describe this one, I feel like.
I talked about it in the Geekbox a little bit. What I liked about it a lot was that it felt very non-cynical.
Yeah.
It felt very, it was just trying to be itself, right? It wasn't trying to be like, hey, look at me, I'm a cool Power Rangers.
No, I really enjoyed it.
It was goofy and
I love what they did to the characters.
Yeah.
I enjoy what they did to Billy. I enjoy what they did to Zach. I enjoy what they did to Trini, especially. The only thing I didn't like about that movie is growing up, the favorite part about Power Rangers for me was always when they fought the monster when the monster was little, so to speak, like normal size.
Well, they fought the...
Yeah, but, my favorite
monsters.
part was, it's always, when they fight the fucking monster, and then when the monster becomes big and they get the fucking robots out, it's like the fucking episode is over, so that's usually the end of the movie for me. So when they kind of gloss over that part, I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, they go monster, then Zord, then Megazord, right? So they build up.
Yeah, I want more of the monster one. In a sequel, I want them to have, a monster attacking the school and shit, and they have to, save all their friends, and I would love to see that.
Well, I think for this, they got the big screen, they want to get them in the Zords, they want to get the big fight. But that was good.
I thought that was really
when they come out as a Megazord, I was like, all right, that's pretty awesome.
And then, as a toy, that shit looks so stupid, but in the movie, it actually kind of worked.
Yeah, no, they're really good job.
Really, and then supposedly they got 6 movies planned.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
See if it works.
Yeah, I'm all for it, though.
These days, whenever they start a franchise, they always go crazy.
To lock him in, yeah. So no, I mean, going in and looking at the trailer, I'm like, you know what?
It could be a fucking mess.
To me, it looked like a modern-day Power Rangers reimagination, and that's exactly what it was. Yeah, and I thought it was really, really well done.
You know, I mean,
Bryan Cranston in the beginning of the movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah. The opening of the movie, and again, please don't get me wrong on this. I understand Green Lantern has his problems, but one of my favorite parts of the Green Lantern movie was the opening sequence where Parallax is like, where he kills all the Guardian guys, and you know they're on the alien planet. Yeah. The opening of that Power Rangers, I was like, this kind of feels like the opening of the Green Lantern movie, which I really liked. Mm-hmm. I just liked how they have like this crazy backstory, and then you get to the Power Rangers.
You know, Billy was named after Cranston, right?
No, really?
Billy Cranston.
Oh, right, yeah.
But it's actually named after the actor. Yeah, because he was part of the original stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you see Charlie? Did you
no, I haven't.
You should. It's good. You like it, Brock?
I was never a big fan of Power Rangers growing up.
I mean, I never was either. So
no, I mean, my thing nowadays is just I did find time to go see Ghost in the Shell, but that's about all I've seen recently.
Well, that's totally a comic book. How was Ghost in the Shell? I have not seen it. Despite the reviews, I actually still want to see it.
Yeah. Oh, it's visually very appealing. It recreates some stuff so amazing from like the anime movie and such. Like, I really like the movie, even though
doesn't part of it take from the show, the first show, a little bit.
Well,
no,
a lot of it takes from the first movie,
right?
I don't remember very much from like the show.
Okay. I thought some of it came from.
I don't think it took anything from.
No,
the show.
But I mean, the ending got kind of blockbusterized in some ways, so they could try and keep it going in a different direction for the franchise. And there were certain aspects of the original movie that was very much about identity and that kind of stuff, which didn't communicate it well.
Yeah, it kind of got lost in this movie, right?
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Because of the nature of blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was as good as the original anime was, but that being said, it is amazing what they were able to do in live action.
It's beautifully shot.
Like, it's very, very
nice.
It's one of those few movies where I'm just like, you really should just see it in the theater if you're a fan of Ghost in the Shell, because so much is recreated so well in this. And
I mean, some of the shots were shot for shot from the first movie, which is really amazing. Yeah. Like even some of the stuff later and some of the stuff you don't see in the trailer.
Yeah.
There. I mean, I look, I've been working like these crazy 15, 16-hour days. So when I went to watch this movie, I missed a chunk in the middle of it.
You fell asleep.
So I will not judge this movie until I have watched it in full. And that's not anything to say about the movie. It was I just too worn out, and those Mountain View theaters had the sofa couches, and you fucking got me leaning back.
You lean back, and you're like,
dude, those couches are a little too comfortable. I will not watch movies at that theater anymore when I'm tired. I will just go to crappy theaters with crappy chairs. So I stay away.
Sit on spikes or something. So
dude, but no. From what I saw, it was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. But I will watch it again before I make my full judgment. I do hope they make more, though. Yeah. I actually kind of want to see the Laughing Man stuff from that first.
Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to some comic book news here.
News of the comics.
And there's kind of only one bit of comic news to talk about. So Marvel, as we know in the last episode, has had a bit of issues with their,
a bit of issues?
Problems.
That's being nice.
Well, there was some foot and mouth disease where they were talking about diversity and how comic retailers didn't want diversity in the comics, which is not true. So then X-Men Gold #1 came out, one of Marvel's huge new books pushing a very classic take on the superhero genre, trying to get back a lot of lapsed fans, trying to kind of appease an audience that has sort of been missing for a little while. I don't know, Bryce may still be on his way. So X-Men Gold came out to, some pretty decent reviews. I mean, again, most people I talked to, what I had told people was, this may not be this may not be the greatest #1 issue you've ever read in your life. Mm-hmm. However, like a lot of the DC Rebirth titles, it felt right. It felt like the X-Men. Mm-hmm. I thought it was a fun first issue. And I really want to see them get these guys back to basics and go.
So it's not on the level of Rebirth that you read on your honeymoon.
Well, no. No, a lot of the Rebirth #1 issues, go to Aquaman, go to maybe Flash, go to, Cyborg and a few of these. I said,
Green
look,
Arrow was a little bit like...
Green Arrow, the first issue, I was like, this is good, but it feels...
Just picking on you back.
Yeah, no. Nothing will be as good as Rebirth. The actual Rebirth comic. So it was a couple days after that I first saw it on Reddit shortly after Bleeding Cool and then everywhere. People pointed out. Now I'm gonna look. I don't know the specifics on a lot of this stuff. I'm going to maybe try to read from Newsarama here. Let me see if I can. Get the exact quote here from Newsarama. So Ardian CF, who actually I believe I've called him Adrian CF in the past. I think I was always misreading his name. Ardian CF, great artist. He's done work for Marvel and DC, a lot of really good stuff. He had a couple panels in this book where he drew some text on Colossus's shirt, some writing in the background, some numbers, and normally people do this in comics all the time. However, these were of a little bit of a different nature. I won't, you can look up all this, all the specifics. It deals with a interpretation of the Quran. It deals with anti-Christian and anti-Jewish beliefs. Whether he shares these or not, it's, for a layperson like myself, it's very unclear. I don't know how to read this. G. Willow Wilson, a writer from Marvel, who's also Muslim, had a very long post about this on our website where she went into why Ardian CF's take on this is bullshit and kind of the whole controversy. Newsarama, Comic Resources, every comic site talked about this at length and kind of, regurgitated the same information. So, it doesn't matter what you believe. It doesn't matter what you like or what you don't like. Putting this stuff into a comic published by a major corporation is the stupidest idea of all time. Now, if you hit some random anti-Trump stuff in the back of a comic book, you probably wouldn't get quite the same level of blowback. However, you might, and there's a very good chance you'd be fired because you were you're just a contractor for these guys. You're just work for hire.
The views and opinions expressed herein do not necessarily affect or represent the views.
Well, that's the problem. The views inside the comic absolutely reflect the company because it's their name on the front, right? So that is the problem here, is that you have a comic led by Kitty Pryde, a very prominent Jewish creator, a very prominent Jewish character, talking about acceptance and, mutants and humans have to get along, while you have this imagery in the back that says Muslims and Christians and Jews should not get along, and they don't get along, which is a very contradictory statement, first of all. The fact that he would risk his career by putting this stuff in the comic is just fucking baffling to me.
Yeah. He must have known. Nobody's that stupid.
So he had apparently done this once or twice in the past with smaller things.
Yeah, but
nobody picked up on.
Nobody picked up on.
But what's the point of it, though? I don't quite. Is he trying to stir up shit, or?
They are references to things that he believes very strongly in.
Okay.
And that the rest of the world does not.
So he's trying to take a personal stand with this.
Yeah. The rest of the world does not.
Because I didn't fully understand it, and the subject matter, I kind of didn't want to read about it.
Yeah, let me explain this in the best as I could. Bryce, you have to read the second reply. The second reply where I said, hey, record it briefly while I'm gone, and then when I come back, we'll just start recording.
I'm pretty sure that's not what was said in an effort to bamboozle me out of being on the team tonight.
You missed us talking about the Thor trailer, which you wouldn't want to hear about in the sales charts. Your least favorite part of the show.
He told me 8 o'clock and started recording before 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I texted.
So I think he wanted. Said, hey, I think he wanted to get rid of both of us.
No,
never. There's a conspiracy on this conspiracy.
There's no updates since yesterday night. What does this say? If you guys want, I can have everything set up, and you can record while I'm gone for the briefly.
And that's what I did.
But you didn't say yes. I'm going to do that. You said if you want, and I said yeah, I would like to, and you never said okay. And nobody.
Literally, no one else replied to me after that. Anyway, we'll talk about something afterwards.
I read nothing. I just showed up.
You just showed up.
You didn't know about it until you showed up.
Exactly.
So,
that
Toby,
means you're done with your books by now.
Toby, in my extremely ignorant point of view, or in my extremely ignorant mind here, I will tell you, to the best of my ability, what occurred during this controversy.
Yeah, please, because I want to read about it.
There is a statement in the Quran that one of the translations, not the official translation, not the original version, but one of the translations is, do not take the Jews and Christians as allies. They are, in fact, allies of one another, and whoever is an ally to them among you, them indeed he is one of them. Allah guides not the wrongdoing people. So it's basically like, Muslims, your enemies are the Christians and the Jews, right? This is an interpretation in the Quran, one of many, and according to G. Willow Wilson and other people online, a poorly translated, incorrect translation, but still, Indonesian Muslims, this is potentially one of their beliefs. The first non-Muslim to become, I believe, just president, right? I believe it's like the leader of Indonesia, the Republic of Indonesia, he was the Christian governor of the capital city. He's been accused of blasphemy against the Quran, a crime in Indonesia, and they've called for his removal from office and arrest. So the numbers that they used are both the references to the passage in the Quran, and there was the number 212 was a peaceful protest against him, which took place on December 2nd, 2016. And
that's on the wall or one of the panels.
Yeah. Maybe on purpose, maybe not. I don't know. In one of the speeches Kitty Pryde is giving, in that same panel with the 212, there's also a jewelry store that she's standing in front of. However, a majority of it's cut out, and so right next to her head it says Jew. Right?
Her head partially obscures the Ori.
Yeah, I mean, you could see it, but the JEW is fully exposed. The rest of the letters are partially covered by her hair and not 100%. I mean, you read it as jewelry, but the JEW is fully exposed. Okay. Look, G. Willow Wilson's arguably Marvel's most prominent Muslim creator decried the Indonesian interpretation of the Quran and his personal belief as quote-unquote garbage. This is from Newsarama. So look, I got no horse in this race, right? Like, you can believe whatever you want, but man, you're going to be fired for saying any of this stuff publicly. Like, or having it in your art, especially in a printed material, like, holy shit. Like, what was this guy thinking? He's a good artist, too. His career's over. He's been fired from Marvel. Clearly blacklisted from the industry.
I was actually kind of excited for his run.
He's a good artist. Marvel is going to publish issues 2 and 3. 2's already on its way. I mean, they already had 2 in their hand. 2 ships next week, I believe. Yeah. 3 is out the very beginning of May. They're already printed. They're like, fuck, we're just going to print these. Fingers crossed there's nothing like that in these. Hopefully they have editors combing over these things with a fine-tooth comb to try to see if there's anything that could be misinterpreted or hidden messages.
Yeah.
We're just going to see no numbers or text or anything in the art.
Yeah. There's going to be a big black label over every single comic that just blocks out a panel.
Yeah.
We had a printing error. There's this big ink stain on the screen.
So what are doing with this, though? Are you just letting them be since there's too many out in circulation already?
Oh, sure. So they edited the digital version. They edited the trade paperback.
Subsequent reprints won't have it.
All reprints won't have the artwork will be taken out. Some people have started paying money for this on eBay. Over cover price, which is stupid because most stores probably still have plenty of copies.
The first person who came in on Sunday to tell me about the controversy had assumed we had pulled it.
No,
I'm like,
no.
Why would we pull it?
If Marvel asked us to return it, I would return what we have, sure. But no, they're like, look, this happened. He's been fired. Done,
Wow. That sucks.
Even if you 100% agree with this and his message, no one should be this stupid to think that this is Marvel censoring someone or that this should be allowed or it's free speech. No, this is a private corporation who has had their image, tarnished by potential hate speech in a company like Disney. Fuck no, are they not going to stand for this? This guy, you're lucky this guy is fucking sued. He may be. There was disciplinary action. We don't know what that means. Probably just blacklisted and fired, but who knows what they could do.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, you can believe whatever you want, but you can't, that's just insanity.
Wow. Yeah, it sadly is the expected result, and if he wasn't smart enough to keep his personal and professional life separate,
I think the biggest issue is, so I read it, and when I was reading it, not that I knew what the meaning of was at the time, but when I saw that panel with Colossus and the letters and the numbers on there, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what is that? Like,
no, I had no idea.
And that's the thing is a couple people that I've talked to have actually said that they're like, even before the controversy, when I read it, I was like, what the fuck is on his shirt? Because it felt out of place.
Just random hipster numbers on we don't know, right? I mean, for us, we have no idea. And you'd think the editor might be like, hey, what's that? And maybe did a quick Google search. They will now. I guarantee you.
Yeah, I don't. It
was a good comic, though. Bryce, did you get a chance to read it yet?
Yeah, I did. I thought it was good. I wasn't over the moon about it. It wasn't anything mind-blowing, but it was great for the direction. I actually really liked the Prime issue in terms of, Zero issue not really doing anything other than setting everything up.
Well, what I had said earlier, I think this was before you came in, I said, like a lot of the Rebirth books, it may not be the greatest first issue that's ever been published, but it felt right. It felt like the X-Men. It felt the direction I want them to go, and I want to see where they take this.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I'm curious about keeping the mansion. Oh, no, they already moved it. All right. So I'm not really happy with how they've done the whole mansion thing. Like, first of all, it's in limbo. If magic is ever kidnapped, mind-controlled, taken out in any capacity, they just can't get to the, Earth.
Yeah.
Well, but they put it in limbo because of the mists, right?
Yeah. I always just thought that was the half. I mean, look, it's comic books, so whatever. But I just thought that was sort of a flawed. Like, okay, the only one that can get everybody there is magic. There's no problem here. Anyway, I do like the idea. I mean, they've been everywhere, or they've been all over the place. I should say.
Hey, Bryce, it's very possible your mic was not really on for the last couple of minutes, but I think we picked it up. I got you now. You're fine.
You're welcome.
Bryce Larsen's here.
Wow! Surprise! I've actually been here since 8 o'clock when we were told to get here.
I'll fix that in post.
You got 8 o'clock also.
Toby wasn't paying attention, apparently, earlier.
Anyway. And so, and then they move to Central Park, and then they're surprised that rent is, astronomical. And it's like, when they moved to Central Park, I was like, my first thought was initially, you want to ruin Central Park for everybody, because you know that in issue 1, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants is going to come and attack you, and then it ruins Central Park for the greatest metropolitan base in the United States, and then at the end of issue 1,
it's just going to be one big insurance scam for the city.
So yeah, sure, that too. I mean, it was kind of like, okay, you're moving to Central Park. I like it when they're out of the way. I like it when they're in limbo or when they're in Australia. Even Westchester is like New York, but out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't like Central Park, but that's a pretty big nitpick. Speaking of nitpicks, have we talked about I Am Bane yet? Anyway, so
what's wrong with I Am Bane?
I
didn't finish it yet.
Can we talk about it after X-Men?
Yeah.
I can talk about it now. Should we switch? I really like X-Men. The issue was solidly meh. I mean, it was on the good side of meh. It just didn't blow me away. I love the spoiler at the end, who they're going to face in the second issue.
Yeah, I don't want to do like a full on like we'll review every number one, but I will. Right. I would like to touch on the X-Men books maybe in 4 or 5 weeks once we have a couple issues of each out. Weapon X is this week. X-Men Blue is this week.
I'm sure Weapon X and X-Men Blue will be hot trash.
X-Men. Weapon X? I'm really excited for Weapon X.
Yeah, I'm really excited too, and I know that I'll be let down. There's no way that I'm not let down by this book.
Am I more excited for Marvel than Bryce?
This is the current state of Marvel lovers.
Well, you're more excited for Weapon X, maybe. There's just no way that it's going to be as good as Rick Remender's X-Force. Like, that's what they're trying to replicate.
Well,
there's just no way. 0% chance.
No, okay, that's probably true, but I think it looks pretty fun.
Anyway, I guess my biggest nitpick is that whole rental price in X-Men Gold. Like, I think it was a great way that they not segued, the opposite of segued. What's the opposite of segued?
What?
They got rid of the blue team.
They fell over themselves?
No, not at all. It's on the tip of my tongue. How they split off the blue group, and they had a plausible reason for it when she goes into the danger room, and they've left a pre-recorded message that they got out of there. But then they like go to Central Park, and then it's like, okay, the mayor agreed to have you in Central Park, and by the way, like price never came up apparently because she was shocked at the cost of it.
Well, here's my hope.
Like, do you live in the Bay Area? Like that's by the way a cheap home in the Bay Area.
Character comes back.
Here's my hope, and one of the things I put in the email when I emailed Marvel about a number of the things that they shared with me, but I still can't talk about. But very soon, I said, look, I'm excited for these books. Please rename them X-Men and Uncanny X-Men very soon.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
and
I would have said that.
And along that
Did you
line,
consult with me? You should have.
And along that line, like put it in Central Park. That's a fun story. Put them back where they belong. Put the X-Mansion back, and don't fucking destroy it for like a decade, please. Just leave the X-Mansion alone,
dude. That's the thing, is that I don't mind when. So one of my favorite cartoons of all time is before the Fox X-Men series was that movie that they did. Do you remember this X-Men movie?
Yep. Like the Halloween party they did, or was it like a Halloween party? Oh, no. That's the Spider-Man one where the X-Men are there. Sorry, no. Yeah, the X-Men, I remember the animated movie.
I forgive you.
Yes.
Where they fight the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. They go to the asteroid. Toby's like about to slap Higgins, but he just forgave him for getting it right eventually. Anyway, so that's an incredible movie. It's for a kid, it's probably good, isn't it? I just haven't watched it in forever. But the one of the opening scenes is the Juggernaut attacking the X-Mansion. Like, I love it when they attack the X-Mansion. My point about it being in Central Park is like Central Park is used and loved by like everybody in New York or New York City. So it's just going to get ruined too easily. Especially, I guess they're taking a hiatus from the big events they've said. I don't know if we've talked about that yet. But it's like, okay, we'll see how long Central Park remains unmolested. Like, yeah, right. So I'd rather them be out of the way so that when they get attacked by the Reavers, when they get attacked by the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, when they get attacked by Sentinels, like, it's more out of the way than Central Park, and they just like Central Park being destroyed is now in the continuity of Marvel, like the Marvel universe. that just doesn't make sense.
Well,
so
I think they'll move it. I think they'll move it.
Is there? They'll fix
damage control. Yep. Thank God.
So I'm one issue back on Batman. I haven't read the finale of it, but I flipped through it. I know what happens. And I've read the whole arc.
Holy fuck, man! Talk about like. So, by the way, Tom King has been doing a great job.
Yeah.
A fantastic job. So I'm not saying anything about his run. It's been incredible. This story has been incredible. But the finale is like the biggest, and I won't spoil it, I guess, or I'll try my best not to. I mean, Batman the biggest fart in the wind.
Batman beats the fuck out of Bane. I mean, that's the end of it.
No, what? Okay, so you kind of read it, but you didn't. He doesn't. Like, okay.
Well,
spoilers for the end of I Am Bane. Okay, spoilers for I Am Bane.
It's like literally like 2 books down on my stack, but I flipped through it. I always flip through the books.
Okay, so he doesn't beat the shit out of him. He spends the entire finale of the I Am Bane arc, which has been awesome in its build-up.
Sending all the villains against Bane.
An incredible build-up. The last issue was like the best issue yet. Okay? This issue was him talking to his dead mother and getting beaten up by Bane and fighting back, but certainly not beating the shit out of him. Fighting back.
Oh, at the very end.
Yeah, in the end, he gets like one headbutt in, and then they both collapse. Like, you call that beating the shit out of him? He gets like no punches in. The entire book is him talking to his dead mother, and then he collapses in exhaustion, and then it just ends the arc.
Okay,
Well,
do you remember...
That is a fucking lame-ass ending.
Well, hold on. Do you remember the original Nightfall stuff, which actually just came out in omnibus form this week?
I mean...
Do you remember the first Bane story? Because this is what Bane does to Batman. Bane sends all these waves and waves of villains at Batman.
So far, I remember.
So Batman's tired and beat, and Bane's like, "Oh yeah, break your back."
Yeah, I remember that.
And this is what Batman does a reverse here. Sends all these villains after Bane while he's in Arkham, just beating the hell out of all of them.
I'm not even sure that he even like flips the Venom trigger until he reaches Batman. Like, he dispatches everybody.
He because I just read the previous issue too, because it's like the next one on my stack. He does it when he fights like Killer Croc and Solomon Grundy or something. Like, he's venomed up through a lot of that. But the whole idea is that Batman's wearing him down. And then so at the end, yes, Batman is getting the crap kicked out of him, but he then kicks the crap out of Bane. And I mean, it feels, to me, what I saw, it felt.
The fighting is the worst. They each get in like 2 punches the entire comic book. He's talking to his dead mother the whole time.
Well, they had the previous issue, I believe, at the start of the arc, where it parallels their life, where Batman goes this way and he goes this way.
That was 2 issues ago.
Yeah, and they're both
That was
talking
also
about,
awesome.
Yeah.
Everything was awesome except for the finale, in my opinion. Like, I'm just saying, I thought that the parallel thing was very stretched. Like, really, these guys are the same guy? Like, really?
Well,
but they did a very good, to your point, they did a very good job of likening them as much as possible. They have a lot of similar factors, and he illustrated that very well. The one where he runs the gauntlet of, like, other villains to get to Psycho Pirate, also incredible. But this was just a fart in the wind. Like, this was like such a lame. They don't fight at all. They like they're like shadow boxing, and then like Batman punches it. Like, he doesn't do anything. He's all venomed up. He doesn't do anything to Batman the whole issue. Batman headbutts him in the face, and they both fall down.
So
it was super lame.
Charlie
liked it.
Completely disagree with you, actually.
Well.
And a large part of that is, to me, this story arc put everything King has done into a perspective. It talked about the significance of the plane, how it started. It talked about the significance of Gotham and Gotham Girl to Batman.
I did like that.
It even kind of put this whole thing into perspective at the end about what his motivations were and stuff for going to get Psycho Pirate back. To me, I kind of agree with you that as a single issue form, it probably doesn't flow as well as it will in a trade. Just because once you put it all together, it won't feel as though all this was covered in sort of like a single issue rather than a whole story arc where this was sort of the finale.
Okay.
But I thought in general, especially thinking about the fact that they're planning all these deluxe size hardcovers with the multiple trades, like, no, this was a really, really good kind of finale to the beginning of the arc, like the King run.
I hear what you're saying, but like, if I'm reading a trade, you're not spending months in between these issues where they recap, and they do. And
we're only spending 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I agree. Well, maybe it's been longer for me, but like, so you're right that. I really like how he sort of sums up the entire arc and the entire run so far, starting with the plane. That is pretty cool. But half the issue is flashbacks. The other half is like still shots of them like dodging each other's punches. Like,
nobody's dodging punches. Like,
dude,
that entire issue is brutal.
He starts off the issue with just as much blood coming out of his mouth as he ends it. Like, they each land. Go back and read the issue. They each land like 1 punch each until the headbutt at the end. And look, they do it. They do to Charlie's point. They do a great job of summing up the run. I think that Tom King has done an incredible job. I think that the last 2 issues were some of the best Batman books that I've ever read, maybe since Hush. But I'm not sure how much of the Jim Lee art just influenced me there. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I don't mean to get too down on it. I'm just saying that, like, for such an esteemed run, it was just sort of a meh ending. So I don't want to get too hyperbolic about the mediocrity of the ending. I guess I was too excited for like a knockdown. Oh, and by the way, can I also mention how bullshit it is that all the Robins were killed by Bane? It's
and
like
just immediately brought back.
Yeah, exactly. They were literally talking in the diner the issue before, or no, I think earlier in that same issue about
So
like
Batman got hit 12 times. Bane got hit like 3.
Sure. So okay. Anyway, so like they were all talking about like, oh, I've been dead before. They were like making light of it, which is I thought good Tom King writing. Like, oh yeah, I've been dead before. I've been dead before. Oh, I haven't been dead yet, or whatever. And they're sort of like making light about how it's just so easy to like die and then come back to life.
When I read
at the end of the issue,
that's the joke, right? When I read that issue, I was like, oh fuck. Well, clearly that's not them. But that's a pretty good way to end the issue. And they pick up the next issue, and I'm like, wait, that was them? Oh crap! Oh, and Superman brought him back. Okay.
No, Superman doesn't bring them back.
Well,
I mean, you're half right, but
they used the Kryptonian.
yeah,
like,
but no
the
thanks to
resurrection
Superman. Batman takes him there.
Stuff. Yeah. That's what I mean. But it's like his stuff brings it back. I'm like, oh, they just glossed over the fact that they just killed all the Robins. Ah, wow. All right,
That doesn't bother you.
heavy. I kind of like it actually.
You like that? Like now, 2 of the Robins have been dead twice. Like it just it means nothing. Like
Well, the thing
all
is-
3 Robins just died,
That's the
and they're
joke,
gonna come
right?
back.
I mean,
But the thing is do we need another publicity thing of like we kill the Robins, we kill the,
maybe they
like,
weren't like fully
fuck?
dead. Maybe they're just really hurt, and they used the Kryptonian regeneration pods to like.
Well,
They
That
were
was-
hanging there. Like, how long do you think you can just hang by your neck before you die? Like
That was
even
Bane's
if you're-
whole thing about how next time I'll pull on their
I know.
legs to make
I
sure.
did read that, and I was like, is he trying to say that they weren't dead? Because that's fucking bullshit. Like they were hanging there for how long?
Just go ask Tom King.
I would like Google search. I should have done this fucking myself about like how long you can hang there by your neck before.
Well, Damien
like,
doesn't
the,
weigh
The idea
anything,
is that
so-
they've been there waiting for a while. I mean, they were apparently hanging, and then he painted "I am Bane" on them. Like it was apparently it took enough time that.
Well, Damien's super light,
Batman
so he,
trained them all how to be hung properly.
yeah, so he's not going to hang himself.
Dude,
Nightwing's a gymnast, so he's like, he's doing some Cirque du Soleil shit up there. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean, I guess that's super fucking weak to me.
We're gonna move on to some questions here.
Just like that story minus killing all the Robins, like he couldn't have like I don't know, they couldn't have gotten away. It's comic books. There's a million things that could have other than them killing him.
Bryce,
killing them.
Do you enjoy the fact that Tom King fucks with your mind?
In most cases,
Okay.
not that case.
Let's set some questions. It's from Samurai Godzilla. He asks, what will do better at the box office, a Justice League or Thor Ragnarok? Now, Thor, I actually looked this up. Thor did $449 million total worldwide. Thor Dark World did $644 million, so that's a nice little bump. I have to assume that Justice League will do more, almost regardless of reviews. Wonder Woman, I could see Wonder Woman probably doing the same number as the first Thor movie. Maybe not the second.
Yeah, that's got to be a way more accurate parallel.
Yeah, I could see Wonder Woman.
I think Wonder Woman will give.
Well, Wonder Woman probably.
Wonder Woman is either going to be at or above. I mean, it's.
I think if the reviews are very strong, it has a chance of being maybe roughly the equivalent of Thor Ragnarok. But I would think Thor Ragnarok would probably have a better bet at being a more successful film in the U.S. at least. Justice League, I have to assume would beat it pretty handily.
So, assuming Wonder Woman is well received,
Assuming, yeah.
of
course, what could go wrong?
I think it will not have as sharp a decline as you see with a lot of these big blockbusters from week 1 to week 2. Because I think, especially
The
on
industry
some,
standard 50% drop off.
well, if you look at the drop off on a lot of the superhero
60 plus, yeah.
I think Justice League will be very front loaded.
Yeah.
However it does, where I think Wonder Woman has a chance to bring in more money over time if it's well received. Because I think a lot of people, general audience, are going to want some sort of stamp of approval on it before they go see it at this point.
Yeah, I think
On
Thor
which one?
on Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I think Thor and Justice League will be front loaded, but yeah, Wonder Woman will probably, if it's got good reviews, it'll pick up.
I guess I just don't know how Justice League. I mean, it has fucking Batman and Superman in it.
Right.
How is it not doing Avengers 1 at least numbers? Wait. What was more successful, Avengers 1 or 2? 2.
Well, no, 1.
1 was more successful.
Yep.
So at least Avengers 2 numbers, because it's got fucking Batman and Superman. Like, how is it, like, people that aren't comic book fans are going to be like, oh, it's like a teen Batman and Superman movie? Like, are you kidding? That is literally, like, not a good one has ever happened before.
Yeah, Avengers was 1.5 billion, and Age of Ultron was 1.4.
Okay,
so not enough. I mean,
I also wonder if like for number 2, if like the foreign market like picked up a bunch of slack. I mean,
well, the problem, right, is Batman
mojo thing.
The question with Justice League is Batman v Superman. I mean, Batman v Superman made a shitload of money, but obviously not Avengers numbers, right? It did 875. You know, Justice League should probably do the same regardless.
It did what, 875?
Yeah, regardless of quality, I assume
it's got to do at least BVS numbers.
Yeah, and if that's okay, but of course anything less than $1 billion isn't successful apparently. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, what do you think? Is like, I would expect that this movie has no excuse not to be a $1 billion movie.
Justice League?
Yeah. I mean, it's Batman and Superman, but it's also Wonder Woman and Flash.
Depends on that Rotten Tomatoes review. If it's a 17%, it's going to get 800 million. If it's a 92%, then yeah, there's your $1 billion, right? I mean, I think
if it's a 92%, I'll go see it a bunch of times. It'll probably actually be a good movie.
I think that's the question. If it's like a 60 or 65%, then yeah, it'll do well. But you know.
I'm going to go see Flash in his cock-shaped codpiece all day. A day.
Samurai Godzilla also wants to know, who do you guys cast as Hercules in the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Oh!
Kevin fucking Sorbo!
What?
Oh, that's a great call.
He's kind of old.
Well, yeah,
The Rock.
He's old now.
The Rock would be a great Hercules.
No.
Yeah, The Rock would be good, but he's not hairy enough. He's always so shorn.
Yeah, but it's like he's got that personality. He's got that kind of cockiness. He can have that sort of
he's
cockiness.
totally bombastic. I would love The Rock. That's a great
You know
call.
who they should cast? That diner guy that died in Stranger Things.
Diner guy?
Yeah, the guy in Stranger Things, the diner owner that got shot.
I barely remember that.
Like, he's a big hunking. You know who I'm talking about.
He's some rando.
Well, I know who you're talking about. I'm just thinking.
I don't know
Don't
his
just
name,
cast Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
Kevin Sorbo is like 80. Toby, that's not going to happen.
Well, he didn't look 80 when he was on Supergirl recently.
He didn't look Hercules.
He didn't look immortal.
Yeah.
But he did not look 80.
Yeah.
Charlie stole my answer. I would definitely say Momoa. Momoa's hairy enough. I mean, like, I feel like the penciler and the inker have to do extra work every time they draw Hercules because they have to draw extra body hair. Like, Momoa would be perfect. He's super jacked, too. He's got an attitude. Momoa would be great. I would give you The Rock, except that The Rock is always so
He already
hairless.
did Hercules.
Right, but I just think he's got the personality for it. Problematic Cartoon says,
Wait, how would you know? You don't watch any of his movies.
The Rock? I've seen
Yeah.
a bunch of stuff.
Sure.
I know who he is.
That's okay. He's pretty much added to any franchise where they're like, we need to bring in somebody who's really buff and intimidating.
Yeah.
Insert The Rock.
There's like, like one option.
Problematic Cartoon asks, so who would be your pick to take over X-Men Gold on the art? So there's going to be a couple people, they have rotating artists on the title that are doing multiple issues, but Marvel...
Sean
Jim
Chen?
Lee? Can I choose Jim Lee? I'm just kidding.
Sean Chen?
Hey, you know what?
Do I remember the right guy? Because I think his heart could take over.
He did like Iron Man back in the early 2000s.
But I think his heart, if I'm thinking of the right guy, he could just take over without people
He's good
thinking too much.
I don't know what he's doing. Is that dude doing a lot these days?
But I think the art would like go kind of hand in hand, so it's not that night and day.
Yeah.
As stupid as the premise is of the Inhumans Prime and whatever the Royals #1, I actually really like that John Boy Myers guy.
Mm-hmm.
What has he done before?
Not much. He's local, apparently. I didn't know that.
He has a signing at Elusive in a few weeks.
He lives around here.
Is that his real first name?
I have no idea.
Anyway, that dude's art is legit
great.
for X-Men. Like, I would love that cartoony anime. That would be good for me. I would take that.
I'd like to see Nicola Scott.
Gold?
it's
Who's that? Who? What is
the
that?
Earth 2 stuff.
Yeah, she did Earth 2. She's done alternating arcs on Wonder Woman. Maybe. I mean, she's a great artist, but I could see it maybe on... I could see her on X-Men Blue. I don't know about X-Men Gold.
I would put John Boy on Blue before Gold as well. But also... what's the
Oliver Copiel.
Copiel.
It's a little too...
I love him.
A little too real for X-Men Gold for me.
He also asks, can you use your newfound powers of connections with Marvel to get them to bring back the Fantastic Four and fix Cap's costume? I can't say anything about Cap's costume, but I'll work on the FF.
Hey, how about we get the guy, who's the guy that's doing Uncanny X-Men, at least the cover? He did a couple interiors.
Yeah, Greg Land.
No, that's not Greg Land, you assholes.
He did Uncanny.
No.
That's
Yeah.
Land.
That's Land.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Land.
Yeah,
Pass
Land,
me that comic, Toby.
Land did all the Uncanny
No,
stuff.
the one you're holding.
This one is not Land.
Yeah, this is not Land. You guys are just being assholes.
No.
Salazar. Edgar Salazar.
I don't know him.
Oh, no, wait. He didn't do the interior. Who did
This
the cover?
one is.
Yeah, Land did a big red chunk of Uncanny.
Ken Lashley and Nolan Woodward.
Ken
you
Lashley's cool.
dickheads.
Ken Lashley's okay.
Yeah. He did a bunch of the interiors for the first arc of Uncanny.
Yeah, he's good.
I would also love it if Land came back to Uncanny.
I like Land.
He's done Uncanny before.
He gets a lot of bullshit, but
He does get a lot of bullshit.
I like
but I
Land.
also
I
wouldn't
like
mind if
Land.
Land was on it. But I would prefer either whoever's in charge of this, if it's Ken Lashley or Nolan Woodward. I mean, they're already doing
a
Uncanny.
Psylocke issue.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of Psylocke issues.
I have-
How about the fact that Psylocke
that's
kills
just good.
Magneto?
yeah. Well,
Well.
She kills him.
Well.
kind of.
Yeah.
Not
I kind
really.
of want this. This is a full.
Alexis asks, I saw Logan this weekend, never watched all of the Wolverine movies. Is X-Men Origins Wolverine really the worst Marvel movie? It is so bad.
No,
Yeah.
it is not the worst.
It is not?
No, the worst is X-Men 3. The second worst.
Worse than Origins? X-Men 3 is bad, but Origins is
Yeah, but
let's-
Origins teased us with Wade Wilson.
Let's establish. So it was bad. I'm not arguing that it was bad. What I'm saying is that you also have to keep in mind, like, your audience. You're gonna like a DC movie more than I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna like a Marvel movie more than you're gonna like it. If this person likes Wolverine, then of course they're not gonna find Origins as reprehensible as probably most people. But I do.
No, but he says it is the worst. The worst Marvel movie.
It's not worse than X-Men 3, except X-Men 3 had the Juggernaut, and it had Multiple Man, which was awesome. Otherwise, being totally
I didn't see Elektra.
garbage.
Electra's.
Oh, I've seen Elektra.
Oh, that was horseshit.
I don't even count that though. That is worse than
That was like a movie that had identity crisis up the wazoo. Oh, we're gonna be a chick flick, but not quite. We're gonna be a fucking action movie, but not really. We're gonna be a mystery movie, but not really either. Let's just fucking mix it all up.
So, to answer the question between Wolverine Origin and X-Men 3, I agree with Bryce. X-Men 3 is worse.
Yeah.
But I think a large part of the reason why I hate X-Men 3 so much is it's squandered so much potential they built up from X-Men 2.
Wow, yeah, that's also a factor.
Like, that for me was just like high to crushing low, and then we
Like,
had the Wolverine
there could be a whole Bryce briefly, or something else, or a commentary if you want to challenge me, Higgins, to X-Men 3, just about how bad it was. Like,
See, I always say that the only thing worse than a bad movie is a boring movie, but you can go bad, boring, and then bad again. So, like, for me, it's like Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 are very boring, and I would probably rather watch X-Men 3 or Spider-Man 3 than Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, but they are not.
I agree with that.
But there was another level of bad on the other side. That's like the recent FF movie is on that other side. Wolverine Origins is on the other side of that for me.
Disagree. Dude, how do you not love
the Daredevil
just Hugh
movie?
Jackman? Hugh Jackman,
No reply?
like Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman could read a fucking phone book, and I would watch that movie. Like,
It was good. Yeah.
that's a quote from something that I forget. But anyway, Hugh Jackman he's fucking awesome. Like, yeah, the movie was just hot garbage, but you get to see Hugh Jackman being Wolverine forever. What was the other one that was widely loved that I hated?
Iron Man 3.
No, I actually correctly love that. You incorrectly hate that because you don't believe that the after credits scene counts in canon.
That's not after credits. It's on another movie.
Oh yeah, whatever. The short that is still in canon.
It's on another movie.
It doesn't fix it.
It does in fact. What's the movie that I'm thinking of? Not Next Generation. First Class. First Class. Everybody loves First Class. I actually don't like First Class.
Well, screw you, Bryce Larsen.
I think that they introduce like a bunch of characters that like in the comics, some are supposed to be 16 and some are supposed to be like 36, and they all make them the same age, and they get half their powers wrong, and there's a bunch of like time bullshit with like, Professor X couldn't have gotten crippled in the Cuban Missile Crisis because he's like walking later.
It's my favorite by far.
Oh God! And
my problem with First Class is just Sebastian Shaw. He was not intimidating enough for Shaw.
Yeah, and so I agree with that. Thank you very much for agreeing with me. And Emma Frost.
You just agreed with him.
Yep. And Emma Frost is just,
the worst. The worst character.
The absolute worst.
In any Marvel movie.
She's like...
She's the
Emma Frost
character.
Is supposed to be sexy. That woman was not sexy.
I like the movie, but she is the worst.
That was pretty bad.
She was garbage.
Was it January Jones? What happened to that lady?
She was only hired because Mad Men was in like the height of its popularity. That was fucking garbage.
Has she been in anything since that ended? She's awful.
No, she's
the worst actress.
I think she's been in some Hallmark movies.
She's definitely not the worst. Have you seen Gilmore Girls? Because I know you have.
I've seen bits of it, yeah.
Yeah, fucking whatever her name is, the mom.
They have infinite more personality than she does.
No, infinite more drama that will suck any TV show's life out of it.
I believe that woman said Cocteau twins at one point. Therefore, she's way better than January Jones in every way, shape, or form.
Oh, God. We can agree that you're wrong.
Next question.
Next question comes from Indie Gator.
Oh.
He was curious why we weren't recording at a said time.
I had to go to the Sunnyvale local, what do they call it? The Sunnyvale Town Hall for their monthly...
She's on Last Man on Earth. I thought that was her.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Monthly town hall meeting or whatever, because I was...
a local fucking business star?
I wasn't awarded anything, but they thanked me for my participation.
For yelling at Marvel?
Yeah,
no, in the Sunnyvale Public Library's library...
Well, it's National Library Week.
National Library Week celebration, because we're doing a discount in store if you have a Sunnyvale library. So
I'm very proud of you.
great.
If you'd started it on a normal time, I would
Wait,
have been
what's the
on
deal?
time and
I show
early
up
for
with a
Bryce
library
Briefly.
card and I get a discount?
You do.
Really?
Yep. Here, through the end of the week.
Fucking library card.
Not as good as your discount normal.
Oh, damn it.
You could quit, and then I'll give you a smaller discount.
All right.
So Indicator says, what heroes haven't turned up in Rebirth you still want to see? And what teams do you want to see in Marvel's not Rebirth? By teams, I assume he means comics. I don't know if he means creative teams or not.
Oh, God. This is another whole Bryce Briefly segment.
Heroes of Rebirth that haven't shown up. They're coming next. We know it. It's rumor, but it's going to happen. JSA and Legion. I need my JSA. I need my Legion. Oh, and I should say, me and Brock already saw this.
Charlie did too.
Charlie saw this. This week's Hal Jordan, number 18, I believe. Is that correct? 18?
You got a shout out from the writer.
I did, yeah. I could send my message. Robert Venditti. A personal favorite character of, I think, at least this half of the table.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the last couple of years, makes a return to DC Comics in the last 2 pages of Hal Jordan this week.
Lobo?
No.
Lobo's been in the Justice League of
he's been
America.
around. Yeah, this is a character that I don't...
That's going to be my answer for Rebirth.
I haven't seen this character in a while.
Like really Lobo, not skinny.
No, that's what I mean. Is a Lobo that isn't an emo motherfucker.
Justice League
he's
America.
been around.
He was part of the big Suicide Squad.
Thank
Justice
you. That's
League.
what they just said.
Yes. I'm reiterating what they said.
Well, who is it?
I'm not going to spoil.
If you punched him across this table, I would laugh.
Comes out tomorrow. No
He's
spoilers.
got to reach, but he doesn't.
Fine, I'll come back tomorrow.
This is like Mr.
Well,
Fantastic.
I'm actually too busy going. I'd probably accidentally knock over my coffee and...
That's not worth it.
Yeah.
Well, what would actually happen is you'd knock over my beer, and I'd be even more angry. I would out-angry you. And you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm hungry. God, how good was that first Hulk movie? It was really good. It was so under the radar. People were like, what the fuck, Marvel Cinematic Unit? What the fuck is that? That was a fucking great movie that flew under the radar.
So Marvel teams I want back. We'll all go around the table. We'll do our DC and Marvel. Of course, I want the FF back.
It was like Infinity.
Not the New Warriors?
I mean...
Oh, they can never do that right again.
That's the problem. I would love the New Warriors to come back, but no, it's not going to happen. It's done, right?
Fine.
Yeah, they just... I would love that too. Not a fraction as much as Higgins, but they just couldn't do it again.
A little part of me wants classic Excalibur back as a team. Captain Marvel,
You just got a little
Nightcrawler,
tingle out of this dude's pants.
Yeah, my
Nightcrawler.
pants are tingling.
Phoenix.
The
Or
S&M.
what the hell's her name now?
Like something like Vestige or something like.
What is her stupid name?
It's the stupidest name ever.
It's a bad name.
It's
a real bad name.
It is bad.
Toby, can you hand me X-Men roll?
Yeah, I can't remember what her name is now.
Veritas.
Prestige.
Thank you.
Yeah, her name is Phoenix. Marvel.
Dude, why is it not Phoenix?
X-Men, Uncanny X-Men.
Was that in your email?
Bring back the Fantastic Four and just rename her Phoenix.
Do you remember? Do you remember when Salvador LaRocca?
Hold on. Speaking of Phoenix, Charlie so I'm a couple of issues back, so I've not read this. Charlie pointed something out to me this past weekend about a fairly important thing that just happened in a comic that I agree. Not a single person has talked to me about. I haven't read this online anywhere.
Are you talking about Thanos?
Yeah. It's just no one reading Thanos.
Dude, I've read Thanos, and I know exactly what he's talking about, and I was so excited to talk about it tonight. So I'm so glad he brought it up.
Like, does no one actually read the Thanos comic? Because a really important thing happened in this book, and like I figured this would have been something that the internet would have blown up about, and
Dude,
nothing.
How is it not? Thanos is. I'm looking at the wall here.
Oh, it's
I'm trying to think. Thanos is at least in the top 10 in terms of quality.
It's probably top 5.
It's
Marvel
probably
right
top
now.
5. I'm just
great.
I'm doing a quick scan. Old Man Logan is better. Let's see. Anyway, I don't want to do this right now. I'm sorry. But yeah, and then at the end of that Thanos issue, they have like the cover of the next issue, like what's coming next.
Yeah.
And it totally spoils like. Once that like comes out onto shelves, people are going to be like, "What?"
Yeah, I mean, let's just spoil it because who cares?
We should spoil it.
Yeah. So I guess spoiler for Thanos number 5.
No, you're not going to set it up right. Okay, so Thanos is dying in a world where Thanos can never die, and in a world where Thanos can never die, the only one that can kill him.
Just so you guys know, I would have changed the channel by now because this is
The only one that can kill him is his son. Thanos' lifelong obsession has been with the Lady Death, who is fueling his son Thane's passion for destroying the universe, and his father, also the Lady Death. Oh, love triangle. Oh, and so Thane gets a band of merry characters together, including Gamora and the Champion, who is shockingly red hair, and Eros, not the love god, but actually Star Fox, who talks improbabilistically, which is a new word, more than me. Thane and Star Fox, the Champion,
can I just say that I hate
Nebula.
the name?
Did I say Gamora?
Can I just say, yeah,
I meant Nebula.
I hate the name Thane. I hate his name
It
so much.
is a terrible name.
Yeah.
It is a terrible name. They invade Terrax, the Tamer's ship, and instead of destroying Star Fox where he stands, which he threatens to do multiple times in the episode or in the issue, he says, "Come on inside for some tea." And in that time, not Gamora, but Nebula and the Champion steal away into the bowels of the ship, and they discover a locked vault, which is what Thane's machinations intended all along. And there, at the end of the episode, they get to the vault while Star Fox, has been distracting Terrax the Tamer and literally every guard on the ship inexplicably and gets them to not notice until the vault is opened and inside lays the Phoenix Egg. What? The Phoenix Egg? Where has this been? Nobody knew where it was, and all of a sudden they have it. Thane is like, "Motherfuckers, I have the Phoenix Egg now." And Mistress Death, who by the way nobody else can see except for Thane, is like, "Baby, I love you. You got the Phoenix Egg. You're gonna kill all of these people." And like, meanwhile, the Champion and Nebula are like, "What the fuck? I thought you said there was a prisoner in here." Meanwhile, spoiler alert: Champion is like one of the elders of the universe. It's like, how can you be so much of an idiot? But anyway, so that happened, and it was very exciting.
No, you can keep talking. Just stop hitting the table.
Oh, the banging. Sorry. I don't mean to do the banging. I just get excited. Anyway, yeah, they find a Phoenix Egg at the end.
Cyclops come out of it.
And I wish. I would really love to know. I mean, you were emailing them like positive suggestions to Marvel. I would email them like, where the fuck is Hope and what the fuck is with the Phoenix Egg death of Cyclops? Like, that's
maybe Hope's going to come out
like
of that.
they
egg.
just completely
is such
like they just
yeah.
We're just not even going to talk about
Yeah.
it ever again.
Yeah.
Just never mention it.
Exactly.
The Phoenix egg stuff? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, from Secret Wars.
That
It's
is
just
true.
like, nope. We just pretended we never did
And
that.
I love how, I mean, I don't know if it was you or if it was Marvel marketing, but they said like, oh, no,
Me?
we'll answer this later. Like, oh, just wait for issue X because
It never happened.
We'll answer it then. And we're like, oh, okay.
Never.
Anyway, Thanos
what
has
we
been
were expecting?
awesome. The end of Thanos number 5 was, for me, a total what the fuck moment. And somebody on Twitter said that Unworthy Thor's reveal was kind of lame. I have to disagree. I thought it was kind of cool. But anyway, we're talking about Thanos. Thanos, awesome. You guys should all read Thanos.
Charlie, you're
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm done.
Charlie Edwards.
If you can believe it.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think
we
at
know.
the time we thought it would be explained in Uncanny 600 because that came
Oh,
out.
yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. Oops. Yeah, exactly. Oops is fucking right. Anyway, Thanos has been great. There wasn't much Thanos except for like some moments of Thanos being a total badass. So if you want to see more of that, check out any moment of Thanos' comic book. Issue 5 just has the 5th issue in a row of him being a total badass. So anyway, I'll be sad when that's canceled because I know it will be, but it's been fucking great.
Yeah.
So, there's lots of stuff we're waiting for Marvel Rebirth and
Marvel Rebirth.
DC Rebirth. We already got most of it, guys. Let's move on here. Casey asks, in Batman the Animated Series, Joker is obviously the best villain. I probably agree with that. But is Two-Face the second best? He has so many great episodes.
What about Clock King?
Clocking, that's a great episode.
I mean, in terms of batting average, like Clock King.
Two-Face, short of maybe Poison Ivy, because it's a lot of Poison Ivy episodes, Two-Face might have the second most many episodes. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Two-Face is great, especially that first episode where he becomes Two-Face, or that two-parter.
There's a couple because
You're
they
just
even
like
do-
fantastic, right?
No,
Imagine if you were Two-Face and you have to do this all the time. Like,
You two are the worst.
oh!
No, just you and Brock. There's only 2 bad people. I couldn't. Toby's bad too, I guess. I don't know.
even though the Mr. Freeze episodes, there weren't
Oh, yeah.
many of them, but every single
first
one
one.
was.
Oh, that first one.
Yeah.
Oh man, that first one.
You know who's great? The big fat guy that eats chicken, that shoves it in the cages. Could we burn that episode from me? Could we just that would be the episode that would come on, and I'd be like, God damn it! Of all, like I'm sitting here like a
It's
teenager.
your curse of a rerun.
You know?
Why? Between that episode and like Red Fox, is that her name? Like, what was up with those episodes? Those were the worst.
when that
You know,
episode came
as-
on initially, did you say that's a chink in the armor?
yeah, it was.
I have to say this though, with how bad they are, I've never repressed them, which is a good sign.
That's a personal flaw, Charlie.
Is it Red Fox? Is that her name? The one that Catwoman,
I know the one you're talking about. I don't think
Red
it's
something.
Red Fox, wasn't he a blaxploitation actor?
what was it? It was
Red something, right? I can't remember. But you know who, the Russian chick that goes up
Red
against.
Star, that's Brock's
From
man.
the-
Red Sonja, that's Charlie's
from-
girl.
from the 2-parter that they technically launched the animated series with because they like aired it over like 2 Saturdays or something like that.
Yeah, but man, that fat guy eating chicken, throwing people in cages. It's the worst. Like Bryce is dying. Like, you know exactly what I'm talking about, though, right?
I do.
It's the worst
Yeah,
episode.
It's impressive
I'm trying
how
to-
bad it is, yet everybody remembers it.
Unlike Charlie, I had repressed it, and now you're bringing up these horrible memories.
Well, probably because
But I assume there was something
they
worse.
reran so much because there was the cheapest one because nobody wanted.
I don't think there's any. That has to be the worst
I
episode
can't
of
think.
Batman.
I can't think of a single worse one because that was so repressed.
Yeah, it's a real bad episode. It's
Was
so,
that like? Was
I
that
just
like,
love the fact the second you say that, I even remember like the music they put to it.
Yeah. And he's sitting there eating that chicken. It's that chicken. He just keeps eating this chicken, and like that's all. Like that's ingrained in my head forever.
So just make him go nuts. Just get fat and eat chicken and put people in cages and
Oh god.
Play soundtracks.
yeah.
Yeah, it's no good.
Oh god.
All right, going here from Wolf. I don't actually
that.
recognize this person. Must be someone more recent. So thank you for following us. He says, "Are you geeked out for Secret Warriors by Matthew
Fuck.
Whoa, what the heck, Toby? By
They
Matthew
only have 220 showings now for that damn anime.
by Matthew Rosenberg. Look, there is a world in which There's a world in which
I don't want him started again.
Oh, I can go again.
I know you can. Just stop.
there is an alternate reality where Ryan Higgins would love a comic book featuring Quake, Miss Marvel, Karnak, Moon Girl, and I don't know who this is. A person that's on fire that's not the Human Torch. Is this
I literally think his name... Is this an Inhumans book?
Oh, Inferno.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That world is not this world. I like Matthew Rosenberg. He's a perfectly fine writer. He's doing... does some stuff for Black Mask. He's doing Kingpin right now, right? Is that him? He's doing a handful of good books.
I liked the Kingpin book. The art was very complimentary.
Okay, I almost didn't order this comic for the shelf. However, I said I'll give it the generic 5 copies, and I assume I will sell 0.
What is the title?
It's the new Secret Warriors comic. This
Well,
book looks
I will buy one of those 5.
awful.
Oh, maybe I'll buy 0 of the 5.
It's
No, I'll buy one of the 5.
It's Quake, Miss Marvel, Moon Girl, Karnak, and Inferno.
Don't do it. Don't waste your money.
Dude, can you even begin to understand how much money I've wasted on crappy
He bought a
Marvel
couple
titles?
issues of X-Men, of the worst X-Men
I know,
ever.
I did. I know.
Yeah.
By the way, issue number 1 of that was a great issue. I don't care what anybody says. Yes, the rest of the issues were a waste of money. I also bought Monsters Unleashed, every one, also a waste of money. I bought a lot of wasted money books. I will buy issue 1 of this because of
But
the
it's not Hickman's
lost money
Secret
fallacy.
Warriors.
What I'm sort of annoyed by this is that they're trying to bankroll that's not the right word. They're trying to take the IP goodwill that was gained by Hickman and Bendis' Secret Warriors and get people to jump back on board, because that was a fucking great book. Hickman and Bendis' Secret Warriors.
There is 0 chance in hell this book lasts more than 5 issues. This book is already done. There's no way this book continues. No way in hell.
Well, did you put it on your list of stuff to axe?
Oh, it's 100%. There's no way this book lasts.
Well, I
Not a
want
chance.
you to sub me in for issue 1 and nothing after that.
Okay.
He won't even remember to sub you in.
Yeah, I know.
Wolf also asks on the indie side, what's better? He's going to ask us 2 questions here, so we have to choose our favorites. Black Hammer or 7 to Eternity?
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Now, I've only read 7 to Eternity and only the first couple issues because we keep selling out of them. So I would go 7 to Eternity, but I've heard Black Hammer is really good. I need to read it. It's a Dark Horse title.
I just sneezed silently, and I don't even remember who's competing with 7 to Eternity, because 7 to Eternity is too good.
Black Hammer is the Jeff Lemire Dark Horse.
I've read a
Is it good?
I've read a couple of the Black Hammers. I prefer 7 to Eternity.
Yeah.
I'm down for a good indie book. If Black Hammer is good, I will absolutely read it, and I'll love it if it's good. But fucking 7 to Eternity has been great.
Yeah.
And I actually have to thank Brock for turning me on to it, because...
Well, I didn't turn you on to it. I just said, hey, there's a Remember book out. Did you get this? And you're like, no.
No, I think that I'm mistaking that for you. Just turn me on in general.
I
I was
turn you on
actually
all the
looking
time.
for Remender books. You're right. And you said... Because I was reading 5... Or, sorry, I was reading 9 of the 10 of his books.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, there's this one too. And anyway, yeah, 7 to Eternity is fucking amazing. It's totally if you got into the X-Men when you were, a decade or 2 back.
And this one's going to be for Brock. And he says, also, Extremity versus God Country. I've only read the first issue of Extremity, and I thought it was all right.
I didn't read God Country.
Oh, you didn't? I thought you did.
Wait, God Country? I might have read that one.
Did you read God Country? Image book?
Is it Image? I think that it's Boom. It's set in some in the South. What am I thinking of? It's not God
You're
Country.
thinking of God Create God.
Nope.
It's the issues. One of the issues is out this week. God County? I don't know.
No.
I read Extremity. It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
I read the first issue. I thought it was fine. I just... Most of the indie stuff these days, I wait for the trade. It's just the only way I can read them. I can't keep up.
It's just way too easy that way.
Yeah.
It's way too palatable.
Yeah. Let's see.
that's not the next person asking the question.
This is from Keith. He says, I'll forever hold a grudge against Jonathan Kent and the new Superboy for
Not Jonathan Romita Jr.?
For supplanting Connell, Superboy, 90s Superboy. Tell me, what role can Connell play in a rebirth world? # not my Superboy.
Oh.
The Superboy comic during the New 52 was trash.
That was pretty bad.
It was bad.
The Teen Titans comic during the New 52 was trash.
Having Toby say that is rough because Caitlin Fairchild was in it.
It was
Or not
bad.
Caitlin Fairchild, though. What's her name?
Yeah, Caitlin Fairchild.
Caitlin Fairchild,
She was in it. Yeah, it was bad.
The book was bad.
The role is none. Sorry. I mean,
Well, sorry, not sorry is the appropriate response.
I love Connor. I love
You don't think they could,
Con L, but man,
you don't think they can bring him into Titans or Team?
I
I want it.
sure, but I don't know how they do it. Right? I mean, he could be the Teen Titans Superboy if they bring him in that way, because it's not Jonathan. Jonathan's like 10 years old. It's not going to be him.
Yeah.
But
I'm down for that.
yeah, I just don't know.
And then Jonathan could be on the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like they've opened the door to potentially bring him back with everything they've done with Superman recently.
Well, yeah. We're going to have to give a few issues to see how this shakes out, but a lot of Superman stuff we're going to be talking about in a few weeks once we get a few more issues under our belt. They basically brought back all the original Superman continuity at the end of Superman Reborn. So we just don't know how it's going to play out.
Yeah, because what's the story arcs? It's dark or...
You're talking like super quiet. What's that?
What's the story arc in Superman going on right now? Dark.
Just is the current title?
Yeah.
Dark Dawn. Black Dawn.
You Black Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it an attempt to bring Superman back into the top 50 books sold?
Superman's a good selling title. It's up there.
Really?
Yeah, it's been in the top 20.
Really?
I'll tell you what it was for March. Oh, and especially because of March, I had the Superman
I
Reborn.
would have been here earlier, but you never confirmed on text or Facebook or...
It got a big boost. Cisco asked a very similar question. He says, given the option, would you rather have Connor Kent return as a new member of the Legion of Superheroes or as a big brother to Jonathan Kent? I'm down with both of those. I would love for him. That's how they could bring him back. He was with the Legion stuck in the future, and he comes back to this world, and he's like, what the hell? Things changed.
Well, the last time they brought him back, it was through the Legion.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I would be down with that. This is from Tyler. This comes in response to my animated GIF I used for my Twitter post, which is emo Spider-Man for Spider-Man 3 doing a little dance. It's so good.
God,
my favorite scenes.
That is my favorite scene as well. It's
so good.
But what was your tweet attached to it? Because it was probably some douchebag.
You both are the worst.
It's the scene where he does the spin and then whips his
No.
hair.
I know the scene, but what was the response too?
No, I just said it's almost time to record the Comic Conspiracy. Send over your questions and we'll answer them on tonight's podcast. And that's my dance move.
No, that's the worst response that could ever be done.
But Tyler asked, best on-screen dance scene in a superhero movie or show?
Oh, well then okay.
You have Supergirl with the musical episodes as they just had.
Yeah.
Supergirl and Flash.
You
I'm
had,
sure that they were great.
It was really good.
I believe you, and I didn't say anything. I did, but I didn't say anything negative.
There's not a lot of dance and musical numbers in a lot of superhero stuff. Guardians, yeah, I guess.
Oh, dude, come on!
The end.
The opening of Guardians,
yeah,
that's a great.
That's good.
Air quotes dance move.
Yeah, it's good.
Or scene. I'm sure there's something in Iron Man where he's being cheeky. I don't know.
Those are probably the best ones.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's see this from Josh. He says, I read the first 2 volumes of Planetary and found them I found them confusing and a little boring.
Oh.
You're fired.
I wouldn't say boring. Maybe a little confusing.
Yeah.
But not boring.
Yeah.
Read it again.
Is there a point of...
Planetary, that's Jeff Johns?
No, that's Warren Ellis. That's the Warren Ellis stuff.
Planetary. I haven't read Planetary. Oh. I don't know.
He says, is there a point in continuing?
He just said you're fired. I assumed that it was Morrison.
I mean, if you don't like the first 2, then no, don't finish it.
Sort of like 100 Bullets. Toby.
But you should reread it because Planetary is fucking incredible. That's a series that my reading was like when it came out. So I went 6 years between issues and it was terrible. I should read the entire thing.
I didn't read it when it was I started reading it during the break because I read like the first 2 trades.
Yeah.
And I remember getting to the end of the second trade and being like, holy crap, called up all the local comic shops to find out who had the issues that had come out after that trade.
Yeah.
Because only like 2 issues had come out after that.
And
then I had to wait for years until they finished it.
Is it collected?
Yeah.
There's 4 trades.
And it's done?
Yeah, it's completely done.
So you probably have some sexy hardcovers that I'm going to be looking for.
I have the Absolutes they did, which always annoyed me because they don't have the crossover. Those Absolutes. But they have a really nice omnibus.
Yeah.
Does that include the crossover?
Yeah.
JLA and Batman.
Oh, dude, so I need to get this omnibus.
Yeah, the omnibus is amazing.
You need to get this omnibus.
They're releasing the soft covers. They're reissuing them in two fat soft covers. I don't know if the omnibus is available, but I'll check.
Which one?
Planetary.
Oh, yeah.
All right, last question.
Will the 2 soft covers include the crossover? I don't even know what this crosses over with.
I think so.
But Of course, I have to have it.
Last question is from Cisco again. He says, name one comic book property from each of Marvel and DC not currently in film development that you absolutely do not want to see greenlit because you're afraid or paranoid the respective parent company will get the property completely wrong once it's on the big screen.
Well, that's not fair because I can't say X-Men or anything X-related because it's all in fucking development. And it's also not... Oh, no, wait, he doesn't specify Marvel Studios or DC Expanded Universe.
Marvel or DC. Is that,
but he's not.
Who from Marvel and who from DC do you not want to see them?
Well, it's too late to save Fantastic Four from that disastrous fate. Kind of the same with the X-Men, although I think the X-Men have some good
I
movies.
am terrified of the Teen Titans. I would love to see a good Teen Titans movie, but...
You're not terrified for Justice League?
Oh, I mean, that's already happening. Teen Titans is not in production. This is stuff not in production.
Okay, I'm very nervous.
Marvel's tough because everything's in production for Marvel.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
New Warriors?
I said New Warriors.
TV show?
You're right.
That Squirrel Girl show with the New
But does that
Warriors?
even, like... It's probably going to be like Powerless, which is like, oh, this is connected, so nobody.
Yeah.
By the way, is that show still going on?
What's that,
Powerless?
Yeah.
Is it still wacky and hilarious?
Well, it's on occasionally, and my TiVo just missed 2 episodes. They've recorded other stuff, so I don't know what's up with the
I'm
schedule.
sure you literally miss nothing.
Marvel's
still liking it overall.
Oh, you're watching it.
Yeah,
And you're liking it. That's comes as a surprise to nobody.
I know. Given the fact that it's got cast members on it I like and lots of winks and nods.
I'm sure good writing and hilarious commentary.
Hey, Ryan Higgins likes it now.
The last episode I saw was the one with...
You missed that part? He came back the next week and he goes, I fucking like it now.
Oh, God.
The first 2 episodes,
the
pilot and the second episode are pretty rough. It gets a little funnier after that. The best episode I've seen, which I believe is the 4th or 5th episode, is when she dates the henchman, who's played by a Major from iZombie.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
That sounds like a not sarcastically good premise.
Yeah, she finds out, they're all like, oh, dude, he's a henchman. Like, you don't know? She's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, yeah, he's totally a henchman. And so...
Would you want them to do Legion?
It's pretty funny. As a movie, no.
I've heard the Legion's great.
I would not want to see a Legion movie.
I've not been...
Well, of course I would love to see a Legion movie, but I think Legion's best suited for a TV show.
We still haven't talked about the end of the Marvel Legion TV show, have we?
I haven't finished it.
Has it ended?
Yeah.
Well, okay, don't say anything.
I've only
Holy crap, go watch it.
Yeah, I've only seen the first 3.
I'm not sure. Do I get FX? It's on FX.
I don't care. Just
Hulu?
watch it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No excuses. Watch it.
Watch it tonight.
Yeah.
You have 8 episodes to watch.
The end of it is...
How far did you watch?
Really amazing.
I've seen episodes... Nope, I haven't seen any.
Your head is going to explode. Go watch
My
it.
head is going to explode, much like David Haller's head, I assume.
I am excited to finish watching it, though. All right, that's it. We're going to wrap up here.
Okay,
no spoilers.
Awesome. Wait. Can we talk about what a great bromance Spider-Man and Deadpool is? Can we talk about how Uncanny Avengers is not getting any love and it's actually been good?
Thank you, everyone, for being on this lovely, lovely podcast.
Is this one of those things where you turn it off because I keep talking?
Yes. I haven't turned it off yet, though.
Old Man Logan's just incredible.
Because it is the end of the month, we have all sorts of great people to back on Patreon, and if I did this correctly, you already heard...
To thank, not back.
What?
You said we got a lot of great people to back. I'm like...
We have a lot of backers to thank. We have a lot of thank yous to
You did it. See, the thing is, you did amazing early on with the intro. Perfect. You nailed it. This is where you're going to screw up.
We have a lot of people to thank. And if I did this correctly, you already heard us thank all our top tier backers at the start of the show, but now let's thank a big chunk of our other people. Oh, and also... if you just support us on Patreon, that's patreon.com/comicconspiracy. I redid some of the tiers. I changed some stuff up. I removed a few tiers and fixed a few and lowered some prices on a few. So if you haven't checked in a while, you should go back to our Patreon and make sure you're on the tier you would like and see what else we've offered. Because we changed a few things up.
Can I say one funny thing?
Sure.
So, Unworthy Thor, I want to give a shout out to issue number 5.
The one you haven't read yet?
Where... What?
The one you said you haven't read yet? 5's the last issue?
Thor number 5.
Yeah.
I've read that.
Oh, okay.
I just want to give it a shout out, not necessarily because the story is great, which it is, but in the letters column, which I assume most people did not read, there's actually a letter in there that says it's like super vitriolic towards Jason Aaron. Did you read it? The letters columns, and the letter ends, and they print it, and the letter ends with like unworthy Thor, more like unworthy writer.
Nice.
And they print.
That's awesome.
And they print it, and they respond to it. It's like,
that's awesome.
What the fuck, guy? Like, why you gotta be a dick? So anyway, that was kind of cool.
Well, let's thank our wonderful backers here. Maybe they read that issue. None of these people will call us unworthy podcasters. We know we're unworthy. We don't have to be told.
Well, some of us get explicitly reminded.
Yeah. Alex McHale, Matthew Schnapp, Don Kilson, Mark Long, Ivan Liskanik, Brian Morawski, Jason Barber, Matthew Holmes, Dennis Jansen, Paula Schultz, Blake Etheridge, Keith Amaral, David Polanco, Christopher Noyes, Kevin Nguyen, David Sfar, Stephen J. McLeary, Travis, Gary Hollins, B. Chris Freeman, John G., Christopher Stone, Jamie, Timothy, there's more people than normal, Aaron Wright, Father Dante, Nick Harrison, Chris Palaki, Kevin Ellis, Gordon McKenzie, Stephen Hayden, Anthony Edgar Marino, and Andrew Cuscieri. Thank you guys all very, very much for all your awesome donations to us. Lots of other people here. We thank every single person that gives us $1 a month or more at patreon.com/comicconspiracy. Helps keep this podcast going. And speaking of going, we're going. Comic Conspiracy Podcast, geekbox.net or iTunes is where you can find this podcast and all our other episodes. Rate and review us, please. It does help other people find this podcast. The Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net or the contact forum at geekbox.net is where you can send us some long form questions. We appreciate those. We do try to read them occasionally. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz, that's our digital storefront. You can buy all your Comixology-based comics through us. We get a cut. The comic store gets money every time you buy through our digital website. Many people don't understand that that's what happens. We actually get paid. So we love everyone that buys digital comics. If you don't buy them from us at the store, buy them that way. ConspiratorBrock.com, that's Brock's blog and video pull list. You can... what's your unboxing video now, Brock? You already unboxed your Harley Quinn statue here. You're gonna unbox it when you get home tonight?
I have to check to see if it's damaged.
Check and see on the live stream. It's funny.
It's not real then. It has to be fucking.
So first you're a unbox it, and then you rebox it, and then you're going to go on the internet.
You don't do that. The whole point is to unbox it without ever seeing it before.
And you're going to be like, whoa! In real time.
This is so fake. You don't do that.
Brock's the reality TV show of unboxing.
You fucking never open that shit until you open it live on fucking YouTube. Well, not live, but fucking when you film it.
The past two episodes, Toby has been in rare form. He did a Bryce level rant last episode. I don't know if you guys noticed. It was
so. Why would I even post a video if it's broken?
That's funny.
Well, that's the part. That's the part of the story.
But I don't understand. That's your question? Like, why? I mean,
why would I post a video if I
do you think all these idiots out there are opening their shit for, it's good, now I can fucking film me opening this shit and show all the world
But to answer
it.
your question with a question, like, why wouldn't you? I mean, what the fuck do you have to gain by, like, having...
more to gain by being broken. You go, look, this fucking shit came broken. No, but you may get a fucking free stack, you idiot.
Isn't the idea that it's like sort of a reaction, a natural reaction to the unboxing? Like, why wouldn't you do a natural reaction?
So is that what we're going to get? We're going to get the Toby reaction video to the Brock unboxing
Brock's
video?
unboxing.
It's all fake.
Brock's going to be like,
open it up.
Brock's going to have like a
scripted unboxing video. Fuck this.
Brock's going to have a 5-minute unboxing video, and Toby's going to have like a 35-minute rebuttal video.
I think so. I'm just...
Then Bryce is going to have a 16-hour commentary track on the goddamn thing.
Challenge accepted. No, I'm just curious why, like, if you're going to, like, record yourself opening something, why wouldn't you just...
It should be natural.
Why wouldn't you just do it naturally?
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
Isn't that the point of it?
Brock's the fake news of unboxing
fake news
videos.
of unboxing videos.
Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That is my wonderful wife, Leanne.
But what I'm unboxing next is the Jim Lee Harley Quinn.
There you go.
Anybody who's interested, they are doing the pilot episode of this season of Doctor Who in theaters next week.
Yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
Spoiler, the next stat he opens up is a Harley Quinn on.
We're all on Twitter. I'm Ryan Higgins. Ryan.
It might be a bombshell.
Brock is Brock
Harley
Sager.
Quinn bombshell.
No,
Bryce is Larsen Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Please add us all. Geekbox, Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, I'll Talk Podcast, Manga Machinations. Those are other podcast episodes where you can listen to us. They're pretty fun. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you everyone for being on this week, and thank you for listening. We'll catch everyone next week.
Where's Hope?